Here we go. Wow. More news. You know how they say no news is good news? Not the case. There's a lot of news. Got USA Baseball's manager not knowing that they need to win. We got the Maxx Crosby trade fallout with Baltimore. Bam Adebayo scored 83. Wow. And the Wizards didn't care. They just let him score 83. Sports, man. Really good. Get in the chat. You know what we're talking about today. You know what we're doing. Let's go. I bought a pickleball paddle today. How about that? That's pretty. I thought that was going to be in the monologue, but I talk sports, not pickleball. Out of the gate, JT, as we open it up here on the flagship of the Silver and Black. Let me get my vibes going here. All right, we're ready to roll. Hope everybody's good, man. Why are you tuning in today? I think I know why. Oh, we got a lot to get to today. You can watch the monologue. You can look for some body language on YouTube. Let's get it going here. The epic monologue. That's what they're calling it, not me. Brought to you by Modelo. Oh, I will have a bucket of Modelo on Friday because all the stuff that's happening now, I will reward myself with a bucket of Modelo. Happy New Year. New league year. New league year. And it starts today. And hopefully it ends with the Raiders in the playoffs. Playoffs? Yeah, the Raiders on Monday got 7 new starters. And Maxx Crosby was in the building today. So I'm looking at this as the glass is half full, but now overflowing. And that's the focus of the monologue as we begin. And we hope you get rolling here today. This is a great example of what I do. Sound off like you got a pair. Have something to say today. We need to hear from football fans all over the country. Every team, every sport, on how it looks like the Ravens did the Raiders dirty. Or maybe they didn't. This is all going to play out, and it's a very fluid situation. So let me walk you through the timeline. And Vinnie Bonsignore will join us at the bottom of the hour. Kirk Morrison a little bit later. I want to thank the Raiders as they gave me a heads up yesterday that this was happening. So it's kind of interesting as I'm sitting there with my wife watching the insiders on NFL Network, and they didn't know. They didn't know. I found out right before I went on Sirius XM. Again, I should know this. I work for the team, and I'm on the flagship, and I looked at my phone, and I was like, wow, here it's coming before they put out the statement. And the statement went out minutes later. So I looked at the statement, and you could see the Raiders said they have no further comment. That's classic Raiders. You see, I've been telling you this for close to 30 years, and it goes back to Al Davis. The Raiders' business is the Raiders' business. But what's changed since Al Davis took over the team in the 60s is that the internet was discovered. And once the internet was discovered, everybody thinks they're privy to things that you shouldn't be privy to. Everybody wants to know first. You got the housewives, you got these NFL insiders. And what did I tell you for the last month? They were throwing spaghetti up against the wall. They didn't have insight on this. Wow, we think Maxx Crosby could get traded? Great, good for you. Good for you. I hope you got your numbers up. We sensed that there was a problem here, that Maxx could potentially be traded. And what did I tell you on the Raiders flagship station? That I hope he stays. That was my only opinion. Of course he could get traded. And I hope he stays. I think he's the best player on the team. He remains the best player on the team. But the Raiders decided to trade him for 2 first-round picks to Baltimore. All right, so we found out about this last night. I did a 4-hour show, usually 3. We did 4 hours last night on Sirius XM. And it was nuts. It was nuts because USA Baseball lost because their manager was too busy partying the night before and didn't know they had to win. Bam Adebayo scored 83 points. Wow. I was watching that live. But then a lot of people were reaching out to me. Normally, when the radio show starts or whatever happens, I have my phone on silent. But I got about 100 texts yesterday about this Maxx Crosby situation. Yesterday, I spent 20 minutes on Baltimore radio talking about this as they were excited for Maxx. So I wasted 20 minutes of my life that I'll never get back on Maxx content. And we're going to clean that up today. So what has changed? A lot. A lot has changed around the league. You can look at this, and I have it in a couple of categories. I'll start with the pro-Raider category. The pro-Raider category is they're getting back, as of now, one of the greatest players to ever play for the Raiders in the modern era. He doesn't have the Super Bowls of Art Shell and Upshaw and Biletnikoff and Stabler and Branch. We know that. But Maxx is in the room as one of the all-time great Raiders because of his practice habits, his leadership, and the way he wrecks games. Okay, you can compare him to Howie Long, our friend Greg Townsend, the late Lyle Alzado, the Mad Stork. I think it's a good comparison, the Mad Stork, who was a legendary champion because he played with the Packers, the Colts, and the Raiders. So Ted Hendricks is on a level that not many are. But Maxx is in the conversation as one of the all-time great Raiders individually. Okay, just like Aaron Judge is. Let me make the comparison. Aaron Judge has got nothing in regards to World Series. Joe DiMaggio, Yogi Berra's got 10 World Series, 3 MVPs. Okay, but you could say Judge is better than Yogi Berra individually as a player, but he doesn't have a ring. Maxx doesn't have a ring. We understand that in Raider Nation. And for Maxx to want to get a ring and go somewhere else after a lot of decision and prayer with his wife and family and his agent and the way he handled that to go somewhere else. Okay, I wish he would have stayed. I wouldn't have traded him. I like Maxx Crosby staying within the organization. I think they're better with him than without him. But the powers that be made the decision, and they got really good value for him, 2 first-round picks. So we all knew that Maxx had a knee surgery. Everybody knew. The Raiders shut him down. When they shut him down, I didn't panic when everybody called into this show and said, oh, my God, Maxx is pissed off. Too bad. Too bad. Maxx is not the team. Maxx is a player on the team. But fortunately, Maxx plays for an organization that puts the players first. I talked to someone very, very high up in the Raider organization who told me that that's the way it's always been with Mr. Davis and Mark. The players are the priority. Everybody else just gets in line. No matter what your role is with the team, you're valued and very important. But this organization has been built on the pride and poise of the players. They're the priority. And Mark Davis and Al Davis and those before always treated the players that way. If you play for the Raiders historically, you get put on a high level of excellence, even if you play for 6 games or if you're in Canton, Ohio in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So we know where Maxx is. We know where he is with the organization. He left. It gutted me. I was in Florida visiting my mom and dad, right? Had to go do a check-in on my folks. Loved to be there with them. And I'm sitting there reading my phone going, I don't believe it. I'm out of town and he's gone. But I was kind of prepared for that. Now he's back. And I'm prepared for that too. See, what we're doing here is we're dealing with not a crisis. Okay, if you turn on the TV and it's not sports, there are a lot of crises going on. This is not a crisis. This is a problem. And the Raiders have conflict resolution in that building to rectify this problem. And they'll figure it out. And then they'll tell us what they're going to do next. But in the meantime, we got to do a radio show. In the meantime, we got a lot of people here on YouTube. And come watch us and come listen. And a lot of people want answers. And that changed only because of the internet and social media. It's never been like this. It never was. Even when sports radio began, whenever you think it began, before the internet, people just let it play out. They actually bought things called newspapers to read about what happened. If this happened 25 years ago, everybody today would have bought a newspaper. And then they would have went to the newspaper and they would have read about 5 different columns on this and then maybe tuned into their favorite sports talk show. No, now it's about instant information on your phone. And I participate in that. And I think we do a good job. I'm not great at it, but I participate in it. Mostly the social media is a sewer where people just get beer muscles and yell and scream at everybody. But there's a lot of breaking news there that's really important. So getting back to last night, after doing 4 hours on this and then going to bed and talking about it, my son and I stayed up and talked about this, and my wife this morning, and on the phone this morning prepping for the show. I was happy that Maxx is back in the building, rehabbing. I think Maxx is a Raider. I don't know if he'll be a Raider by the end of the day, the end of the month, training camp or whatever. That's where we have to take this topic and move it forward. You see, we have to do something that most people in this town can't do. Most people in this town in media or on the radio, not most, some of them, they just stir the pot and they love this. They get in and prep for their show every day. And what they do is they want chaos. They just want chaos. They just want to find things that'll kill a segment and kill another segment with 3 or 4 guys on the radio or gals and just kill time. We don't do that here. We try to move the topic forward. So what's going to happen next? Here's my opinion. There's a couple of things. The value of Maxx Crosby clearly has gone down. But that doesn't mean it's impossible to get 2 first-round picks for him. It doesn't mean it's impossible, but it's highly unlikely now that he's back in the building. So maybe the Raiders are happy he's back in the building because they added, what did we say, 7 to 8 new starters on Monday? Right? Clay, what did we say? They added at least, Eric Stokes was already there, but that's part of this. They added at least 7 to 8 new players who should all be signed today, knowing Maxx Crosby was gone. That was a big positive on Monday.
Well over $200 million, almost $300 million contract money has gone out on a huge first-day splash where Spytek was the hunter, going out and taking his prey.
Right. So where do we stand now after John Spytek went out and got all those good players? All those good players that are coming into the building this week. I think it's the best case scenario. Maxx Crosby's back. Wow. Oh, my God. That's unbelievable. Okay. Did the Ravens have buyer's remorse? No doubt about it. I believe in 3, 2, and 1. I believe that the Ravens did the NFL, and most importantly, the Raiders dirty. They agreed to terms like gentlemen do, men and women in this league. They agreed to terms on a real trade, which was a blockbuster. 2 first-round picks for Maxx Crosby. They agreed to it. They had all the medicals. They had everything they needed. They knew that Maxx had surgery. Maxx was on crutches. He just got off crutches before the Commitment to Excellence Awards, and he was there with hundreds of Raider fans. Hundreds of Raider fans that were at an event in Summerlin a couple of Friday nights ago knew the medical status of Maxx Crosby more so than the Ravens? Really? That's where we're going here? So the Ravens have the right to look at the medicals of Maxx, look at the x-rays, call the doctors, and do all that. Remember, the league year didn't start till today. So they have the ability legally to back out, but you tend not to do that in this league because it's dirty. You don't break the bond. Have you ever heard that a handshake agreement means something? Yeah, it does mean something to a lot of people. You can get out of a handshake agreement, but then you would have a reputation of backing out of deals, and that is no way to go through life if you're a general manager backing out of deals. So maybe to credit this and balance the show out, maybe the Ravens looked at the medicals, had Maxx in the building, did their own physical. They saw the knee. They didn't like the knee. It was worse than they thought. Fair. That is fair, and I don't know this to be true because of HIPAA laws and the fact that you can't discuss someone's medical issues here, right? Disclaimer alert. But the Ravens had the right to look at it and then call back their doctors and say, hey, this is our new MRI. This is what we have, not what we have from the Raiders. Take a look at it. And if they got some information back and they said, look, Maxx is clearly going to be ready to play, but it might take a little bit longer, or it might be an injury that progresses long-term for him, and we want him here long-term. What if the Ravens wanted to give Maxx Crosby a new long-term deal, and they looked at this deal and said, no. We got to get him through this injury first. We got to see how he does in year 1. He's under contract. Remember, he's under contract. He signed a new contract last year. So as everybody is kicking the Ravens to the curb, and I'm one of them, because I think they're dirty, and I think they did the Raiders dirty, they have the right to do this. It's not good. You have the right to renege on a lot of deals in life, but normally you don't want to have that reputation. So that's what they were able to do, and they got away with it. And then all of a sudden they get Trey Hendrickson, and they get their 2 first-round picks, and they get Hendrickson, who puts up more sacks than Maxx, but he doesn't play as good as Maxx. He doesn't defend the run just as good. And then they take Maxx Crosby and Rachel, his wife. They bring him in. Maxx wanted to go there. We're good on that. Maxx is a big boy. And then you tell Maxx you're reneging on the deal, and he flies back home, and he's in the building again. He's in the building. Confirmed. In the weight room, rehabbing, in the cafeteria, confirmed. How many guys do that? How many guys would have shriveled up in a little cocoon and hid and said, my agent, hey, get on the phone. I better make sure someone does that. No, Maxx is back to work because that's who he is. Maxx can handle this. He handled his sobriety, which is much bigger than this. His sobriety saved his life. He's been through trauma. He survived that. He's part of our family. We are a family in the Raider Nation. The Raider Nation is attacked on all sides daily. They are attacked from within Vegas, from even media members in Vegas who are scam artists and don't like the Raiders, but they want a credential. Okay, so for Maxx Crosby, we protect him. He's a Raider for now. Now, if they decide Jerry Jones wants to give up a first and a third, and Brady and Spytek say, we've kind of moved on from Maxx. We got good players in here. We want to go younger. And then they trade Maxx and they do that. That's their prerogative. They're the bosses. We take the direction of what they do. They're the owner, the GM. They'll make that decision and they'll let us know in a timely fashion. But it's pretty complicated. And I'm pretty pissed off today, but I'm happy. How could I be pissed off and happy? Well, I'm happy Maxx is back. He's my guy. We have cigars. We hang out. He knows my kids and my wife. We're friends. I got a few friends. I got hundreds of friends outside of freaking radio. I can tell you that, but Maxx is a friend and someone I trust, and he trusts me. I don't know if he's staying or not. I'm not blowing up his phone today. I know he's in the building. But what I'd like to see happen is calm down. Let's relax. The Raiders have tremendous leverage. They got a much better team since Monday than they had. They got a much better team, and Maxx Crosby's back in the building. And I believe this. I'm not guaranteeing it, but I believe this for now, that Maxx Crosby is the perfect guy to put the toothpaste back in the tube. You ever hear that term? The toothpaste is out of the tube. It's kind of a lame term, isn't it? Like, have you ever put toothpaste back in the tube? I haven't really. I just have a new thing of toothpaste. You can put Maxx back in our building. You can do that. Will a couple of people be uncomfortable with it? Maybe. As long as Mr. Spytek and Mr. Crosby are comfortable with this, then the Raiders can get back with their plan. They have plenty of cap space. They spent a lot of money. I'll dive into that with Vinnie Bonsignore at the bottom of the hour. They have plenty of money to do this. Thank God they do. What happens if the Raiders only had $75 million in cap space, or an 80, and they got Tyler Linderbaum? They couldn't have got Kwity Paye. Maybe they don't get Kwity Paye. Let's talk about that. Probably they don't get Kwity Paye to come here if Maxx Crosby's here, but they do. And I don't think they'll renege on Kwity Paye. I don't know what's going to happen as all these contracts are being negotiated. It's the opening day of the league year. But putting Maxx Crosby back in the building is a really cool story. If you like the history of the Raiders, and the Raiders chronicle their history as good as anybody, behind the scenes right now with the Raiders is one of the biggest projects in the history of football media. The Raiders' life, as the Raiders are chronicling the entire history of the organization dating back to 1960, actually before. The life of Al Davis, the life of Tom Flores, the life of George Atkinson, everything that they're doing, right? Well, this is an interesting little chapter. It is. I was asked to go on a national television show today and turned it down, a big one, a really big one, bigger than this radio show times 100. They asked me to come on at 5:30 in the morning. I said, no, I'm not going on. Why? To get a couple more followers? No. This thing is, my opinions, I am biased towards the Raiders. I am here to help the Raider fans and Raider Nation. I want the best for the Raiders. So as we look at this now and we try to figure it out, what is best for the Raiders? I think what's best for the Raiders is to pause, get all the new players in the building signed and excited, get ready for Fernando Mendoza and the rest of the draft. Listen, right? John Spytek, as much as he told you, and it was sincere, and Kubiak, Coach Kubiak, that they love Maxx. They were both at the combine and told you how much they cared about Maxx, but they would listen. That's what John Spytek said, and he did, and he got a pretty good offer for Maxx, and they moved on. Well, I'm assuming he's going to listen again, and we should have a lot of confidence with John Spytek, who's had a hell of a week, and then this daisy cutter bomb fell on his lap, where he has got to clean this up, and I'm confident he will. So what are the options going forward? Let's go over them. Okay, let's do it like it's school or a PowerPoint presentation. Number one, Maxx is still on the trade block, I believe. He is. They're going to listen. If they can get something that they feel will be better for the team, they have the right, of course, to make that trade. Number two, Maxx stays in the short term and rehabs through the injury and gets healthier, and maybe other teams are interested before the draft, start of the season, when you can do a deal. Or number three, my favorite deal, is that Maxx remains a Raider for life. that everybody comes together. Everybody says, hey, man, let's go, Max, we're not going to drink because you don't drink, but let's go out to dinner. Let's go to Michael's at South Point. Let's go to Barry's, my buddy Barry. Let's go downtown and have a steak. And let's all just kind of laugh about this and get ready. And Max is having a cigar afterwards and everybody takes a photo and everybody's cool. That'd be nice if that happens. And I hope that happens because I love Maxx Crosby as a player and a friend. And I'd like the best for him and his family. And I think he's handled this about as good as you can handle it. Yeah, I got people saying he's talking too much. He's on Instagram. He's got his own podcast. Oh, be quiet. Be quiet. Do whatever he wants. He's a grown-ass man. Guy's got opinions. He puts the Raiders first. Well, JT, he wanted out. Well, if you want to hold him to the fact that he's an athlete in the prime of his career and maybe wanted to get in a better situation to win now, as the team made it clear they're going in a different direction with the youth movement and doing all that, you have the right. You have the right, if you want to be that guy or gal, to hold that over Maxx Crosby's head. You have the right to do that. But if you're a member of the Raiders and a member of the Raider Nation, you would want to encourage the team to do the right thing. You'd want to encourage Max with his mental and physical health to be at his best. And someone told me today, which was great, I don't know what the schedule looks like, but I'm a season ticket holder. Can you imagine Mendoza being introduced before the game and Max the last one coming out of the tunnel? They normally introduce the offense or the defense. Imagine if Mendoza is the starter week one. We're opening up on Sunday Night Football because the league says, oh my God, Maxx Crosby's still there and they got Mendoza and he's going to start. Let's put that game on Monday night or Sunday night and let's put that out there and what the stadium's going to be like. I could give a crap what teams on the road coming here and thinks they're going to buy our tickets. That stadium roof will open up and fans will go crazy. It'll be so loud. So I'm not excited about this because, again, I'm not a gossip hound. I just want to do a good 2-hour radio show and maybe more at night, a couple of podcasts here. But it's really good content. It's really good if you stick to sports. You know, you can stick to sports today. What's more important, wasting 90 minutes on the Mountain West or talking about Maxx Crosby and our NFL team? I think we need to understand in this marketplace, the Raiders rule. We love the Golden Knights, and I'm a lunatic Golden Knight fan. The Raiders are a $9 billion franchise going on $15 billion in the next couple of years. They're part of the NFL. The NFL is the number one product in the United States, and we have a team in this city that is legendary famous for their history, their brand, their colors, their logo. This is a great example that you're either with the Raiders or you're not. I get a lot of heat for that because I came from New York. I wasn't born a Raider fan, even though I got the shirt with Stabler when I was 12. Hey, JT, I had to give up the Giants to be the Raiders. I've been through all that crap. I'm good. Okay? I lit the torch. I had the highest accomplishment of my career just months ago. I'm good. Bring it at me. But I will tell you this. This is a great moment in Raider history. In the modern history of the Raiders, this is your defining moment as a Raider fan. You don't have to agree with this, and you could be triggered today. You could have problems. You could not love this deal. It is not perfect, just like families aren't perfect. They go through divorces. They get back together. They have mixed families, right? Couple kids from one marriage or another, but they're a family and they stick together. There's been too much divisiveness in the Raider Nation, too much pulling apart, too many guys with anonymous beer muscles. You're either with the Raiders or you're against them. The rest of the league is against the Raiders. The Baltimore Ravens are against the Raiders. You're either with the Raiders or you're not. You're either loyal or you're not. Where do you stand? I don't know how it's going to end. I'm not looking to break news and guess how it's going to end. I'm interested in it because it affects my livelihood and what I do, but I can handle it. And most grown-ass men can handle it. And that's the monologue. Brought to you by Finley Volvo, Las Vegas. Go check out their EVs, their hybrids. What a beautiful showroom Mike has right there, Russell in the 215, as we are ready to rock today. Yeah, I got both my sons are in the chat today. Both of my boys, my proud boys who are doing great in life. They're like, Dad, we're in the chat today. We got this. I go, why? You worried about it? No, it's a good day to be in the chat. So everybody subscribe for free. Please subscribe on the YouTube channel, JT the Brick YT. and you can check all this out as we're ready to go. You want to talk about loyalty to this brand? Maybe no one better. Maybe it's a good day for the oath. Raider Man joining us. What a day to join us in Richmond. What's happening?
Hey, what's going on, JT? It's amazing that you came in with that fire. You breathed out that last puff of smoke. I was just thinking the same thing. All you missing is a flat Raider oath at the end of that thing to hit the signature, man. I mean, this is pinnacle moments for me. And shout out to everybody that's out there right now, because regardless of what side of the fence that you're on, just remember there's a real fence, and we on the top of this fence. It's going to be your job to figure out what side you end up in. So there can't be 1 foot on one side, 1 foot on the other. Raider Nation got to stick together right now. Because I would honestly believe this. I called in on the morning show, but I truly believe this with my full heart. King Al would be over the moon, so proud of this organization right now. I mean, because everything from the top down, from his son, Mark Davis, who's taking all of the bullets. And he's doing some of them well-deserved. He's going to take the pain. That man stood 10 toes down. He represents his father's brand, and he's doing his best to bring pride and poise back to commitment to excellence. And I'm proud of him, man. The Raiders at the pinnacle of your height, and we have zero controversy as to all the right reasons. And our organization is doing all the right things. It's like everything about what the Raiders are doing right now. It's unfortunate what's happening with Max. But the truth of the matter is, and this is my mind, so I get lied to. Max is a human being. And he's been through rehab before for a different capacity. God bless him, everybody dealt with a sobriety. This is a humanistic type. Because sometimes you got to eat a little bit of humble pie. And it may not be crow, it might be raven this time, but dig it. He got an opportunity because there's conversations to be had. At the beginning of this, the Raiders made sure to reach out to him and have communication and treat him like a person. I'm hoping to see Maxx Crosby turn around and treat Raider Nation as a great organization, which it is now. And shouts out to Kubiak and everybody that's involved from the top down. They're doing a great job. But people need to have conversations. People need to look people in the eye, be honest with them, and make amends. Sometimes you got to say sorry. Sometimes you got to say, I forgive you, I love you, hey, whatever it is. If you're not willing to have the conversation, then you burn your own bridges. And that's sad. Because awkward is just a thing. That's a growing phase. But, mistakes sometimes last a lifetime. I'm doing my best to be on the right side of things, so I always do my best to do shouts out and loves and everything. And that's always for you, JT, since day one. I like to believe I'm your A1. But everybody needs that real conversation. Everybody needs that real touch, because sometimes you just got to meet people where they are. That's what the good words say. But love covers a multitude of sins. Everybody that messed up, let's make amends. Let's everybody get together, man. Raider Nation, as you would say, unite. Let's get this thing together, because we got to fight. And we're going to attack this season, man. Max going to be pissed. I'll see you when I'm looking at JT.
Take care. Appreciate you, man. Always appreciate you. And thanks for starting us off. Look, someone asked me in the chat, what are the odds of Max being back? I don't know. I don't gamble. But we have a lot of gambling partners. I don't bet. I would like to see Maxx Crosby here. I get a chance to get in the tunnel from time to time. I would like to see a really pissed off Maxx Crosby play football again with the Raiders. I would. I think that would be tremendous television. We all live a short life. We don't know what's going to be promised to us tomorrow. If we could have Maxx Crosby with this organization with an edge to him, he already has an edge to him. Imagine Maxx Crosby with these Georgia linebackers behind him now, actually linebackers who can play, and maybe a center who's going to run people over, and the rest of a healthy Colt Miller. Imagine what Max could be like if he is triggered and feels like he has something more to prove. But I realize there's a chance he might not be here because the Raiders are running a business. I'm going to talk about that coming up next with Vinnie Bonsignore. Vinnie joins us next, our teammate. Where do the Raiders stand in regards to the cap? How do they pay everybody and bring Max here and do this all? How does this play out? Vinnie knows the numbers. He'll join us coming up next. We'll talk to him about this. This is the aftermath of the Ravens backing out of the Raider trade of Maxx Crosby and Max being in the building today. It's a pretty big show. I've been doing Raiders radio for close to 30 years. I rarely recall a day like this. Let's take advantage of the format. It's kind of been easy to do the show here the last month, man. It's like you show up and every day there's something going on here, man. Every day there's something big going on. As we said, this is when I'm supposed to be in Maui. And thank you for the donation. Whenever someone gives a nice donation like that, which we don't advertise, we really appreciate that. Thank you. My son's put some time into that, so we appreciate that. But, I'm supposed to be in Maui, man. I'm supposed to be golfing, right, at Wailea, man. I'm supposed to be boogie boarding there and being the hell out of here. What am I doing here? Every time I want to get out of here, they pull me back in. Woo! Thank you, Stephen. Appreciate you, Stephen, for that nice donation. We appreciate that. That's a nice donation. It'll pay for one Tito's in Vegas at a bar. But, hey, I like my Tito's.
Here's the best part. Our 10-spot Keno Progressive pays up to $200,000. All Progressives exclusively available at PT's Taverns. Video poker links may vary between taverns. Check with your tavern bar host for details.
Shane Hardy here with Darren Millar from the Vegas Golden Knights. When it comes to luxury, no one does it better than Vinnie Cadillac and the Valley Auto Mall. Plus, they have an exceptional service department with a team of highly skilled technicians. They go above and beyond to keep vehicles running smoothly. Whether it's routine maintenance, repairs, or upgrades, they have...
All right, what do we have to say here in the chat? Is everybody, there's so many people in here I can't catch up. Is anybody negative, man? Is anybody, we're good. We should have something. We're looking for a tequila sponsor. We're looking for, I got a big inside story. We're looking for bars, man. My chains have come off. I'm looking for bars now. I can deal with any bar. I mean, any bar, including the big ones. So more to come on that. But, I understand why some people, not everybody wants Maxx back, but I want him back. My wife wants him back. My sons want him back. So that's my world.
Fantastic indoor swap meet.
Swap meet? I love Fantastic. Can I come along?
Sure, if you bring your wallet.
What are we shopping for?
You got Vinnie?
They've got everything, and it's a lot more fun than shopping online.
Okay, let's spend the afternoon. It's just over on Decatur and Okie.
Fantastic's open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 10 to 6. And like they say, it's fantastic.
Yep, I want JT back in my life. I'm always back in your life. I block a lot of people. Cisco knows I block the trolls. The trolls, I used to just go in their DMs and call them a dummy after they say something heinous to me. Now I just block them, and they're never heard from again. They never ever are heard from again. But every year around July 4th, I release them out of jail. Right, Clay? What do we call that day again when I release them? Amnesty. Amnesty Day is going to be where everyone who I've blocked, I release them for a day to see if they can behave again and come back into our world. And if they don't, Thor's back. Thor, are you back from that cruise? Man, the Raider cruise got canceled, not because of the Raiders. They didn't do anything wrong. But, man, Thor was cruising with the Raiders. All right. Thank you, Mark Cannon. We got some Facebook friends in here today. Hey, has everybody subscribed to my Facebook page? Sons, put that in there. The Facebook link is JT the Brick. The Instagram. Wow, Aaron, that's a nice donation. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Thank you very much. Love the show, brother. Keep doing your thing. Love our Raiders. We are going to turn the ship around. Thank you.
If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
All right, JT, back with you. What a day to be on the radio. Not everybody has radio shows. Vinnie Bonsignor has a radio show. He's got the California Post. He's got other podcasts, and he knows the league as good as anybody. Wow, Vinnie, I was on live when this happened last night, and it was a free-for-all. As you went to sleep last night after this information, woke up today, did the show, what have you learned about the Ravens pulling out from this deal?
Only they can truly answer, what their true reasoning was. But right now, obviously, it's the physical that they're the NFL just felt like they got cold feet, and another option emerged, one that wasn't going to cost them 2 first-round picks, and they have used Max's knee, and obviously the fact that it's still on the mend from off-season surgery, they have used that as the excuse to back out of a trade, pivot to somebody else that wasn't going to cost them 2 first-round picks.
Okay, so with HIPAA laws, and you know this better than me, what you're allowed to disclose, if you're a team that hasn't signed the player, and now the player's not coming to your organization, but you believe there was a medical issue, how careful do the Ravens have to be about this? Because I agree with you. I think they have cold feet. They reneged on the Raiders. And not only did they do the Raiders dirty, if they did renege on the deal for Hendrickson to get their picks back, they did the league dirty, because the league is based on gentlemen's agreements and everybody doing deals together here. So the Ravens really have to double down on what they think of the medicals here without giving too much information. How does that play out?
They're not obligated to do anything. I mean, all of these are all subjective medical, evaluations, and everyone has their own information and their own reasonings for signing off on something or not signing off on something. So it's going to be really difficult for anyone to prove anything, and they don't have to say anything. They're protected by all those rules that you just mentioned, and they'll stay mum on it, and they'll say we made the decision based on why we made our decision, and that's that. There's really nothing else that they are obligated to say or have to say.
Vinnie Bonson, yours our guest. So walk me through what you think could be happening in the Raiders building now, as you've always said, and you've been out in front of this really good, that the Raiders are always listening, as both John Spytek and Clint Kubiak sat in front of you at the Combine and talked about how they're in the business of having great players, and Maxx is a great player, and they wanted Maxx to be a Raider, but they were listening then. What do you think they're listening to today if they're getting calls for offers?
Yeah, and they're getting offers. There's still a market for Maxx Crosby, but they're going to do what they did previously. They're going to operate from what they feel is a position of strength. They've got Maxx Crosby, and they like their world with Maxx Crosby now more than ever, with all the moves that they've made, on Monday and in the opening days of free agency. So they're operating from a position of strength, and that's definitely agreed on. If you talk to people in the NFL, as I've had, so they're not compelled to do anything other than hold on to him and move forward with him in a revamped roster, and they feel good about that. However, there will be offers that are made. There will be calls that are made, and if they feel like a trade is in the best interest of the team, because the trade and the assets that you get back will strengthen this team for the future, they'll have no hesitation to trade him.
Vinnie Bonsignore joins us, California Post, Raider Nation Radio. So, Vinnie, when it comes to Maxx staying, you've crunched the numbers, and the Raiders had a lot of numbers. I was blown away. I thought our conversation this week was going to be a goodbye to Maxx Crosby. We were going to get right into the new roster. And I think that most people think they got 7 or 8 new starters, if you count Eric Stokes, who could have left, but he's here, and what they were able to do, bringing in Naylor and the 2 linebackers. I was blown away by the linebacker move. I didn't think that was coming, man. I've been dying for linebackers. You and I have been talking about that forever. So knowing that the money and the amount that will be owed, how much they still have left in the cap, absorbing Maxx Crosby coming back because it wasn't the new league year, where are the Raiders financially today?
In a really good spot, and there's people in the building, that remain behind the scenes, that play important roles. They know who they are, and the Raiders know who they are. That structured the deals that they agreed on in a way that could account for something like this happening. So they're in a tremendous place, in terms of the finances and the cash going out, the cash, all of that. So they're in a good spot, and to make additional moves if they so choose. They've done so much work in the opening days of free agency that really it's probably some minor things that need to happen for this year's roster, the 2026 roster I'm talking about. And some depth pieces, a backup quarterback, maybe an additional running back, maybe some more, whatever position they were identifying with the 14th pick, maybe they circle back to now in free agency to address at a little bit of a higher level. But they're in a really good position as far as all that goes, and honoring all the contract agreements that they made.
Vinnie, knowing Maxx the way you do, and I know him, and at times he could be very outspoken. You know that. I know that. And we've had real conversations about Maxx. He's the one player that I think, and I don't know all of them, that I think could handle this. And I don't think a lot of players could handle this. I think there's a lot of loose cannons around the league playing different positions. A lot of them might be a wide receiver. We had a wide receiver who recently wanted out of here and bettered his opportunity with the Rams in Davante Adams. People handle things differently, but they only have one career. What could be a scenario where everybody's on the same page if Maxx decides to stay and the Raiders want him long term for not only this season, but for years to come?
Yeah, I can't imagine that would be an issue. Maxx Crosby is a professional, and he knows how this works. And the other part about it is he takes tremendous pride in being a professional. So if at the end of the day, even if his heart is still set on maybe going someplace else, if that doesn't happen, he'll respect that the Raiders aren't going to just give him away, and if he has to stay, he's going to put his best foot forward and he's going to be professional about it. I also wonder because when you think about it, JT, the Raiders team that he had some hesitancy about moving forward with 6 days ago looks far different.
Bam!
Today.
You nailed it.
Yeah, it looks completely different today than it did 6 days ago. So somewhere along the line, maybe when he got on the plane in Baltimore heading home to Las Vegas, he started looking at the new Raiders picture and said, man, this is not a bad situation whatsoever. I'm perfectly fine staying. So that he may have had a change of heart in that regard as well. I'll say this, so whatever he feels, and in terms of that, I still think that the Raiders are going to do what they feel is best for the organization. That's the obligation that they have to the fans, to themselves, to everybody in that building. They have an obligation to build the best football team that they possibly can for now and for the future. And so I think everything is on the table. But if you look at it, even from the Raiders' perspective, and I talked to a bunch of people about this in the NFL, how bad is any world that includes Maxx Crosby as your starting defensive end to start the 2026 season?
Vinny, last one. That's very interesting what you said, because you have sources around the league, and especially with your new role at the California Post. Are people just shocked at what the Ravens did here? Because I'm shocked, but I'm giving them credit for at least having a decision. They have the right to make that decision. I don't agree with it, but you're talking to GMs and assistant GMs and a lot of scouts around the league. What do they think about this? Because I don't think this is going to be a trend. But what happens if it's a trend? What happens next year if you and I are talking about 3 or 4 blockbuster deals because Arch Manning's coming out and a whole bunch of quarterbacks, and then all of a sudden we're talking about the legal tampering period, and then the Wednesday before, a deal or two falls out again because it happened with the Ravens?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a prevailing issue moving forward. If it is, obviously the NFL is going to have to look into the timelines and the windows and all of that, and maybe close some of those loopholes or close some of those timelines. I don't think it's going to be an issue, and I don't think that the NFL or anybody else is going to overreact. Even if there's one team that acted in a dishonorable way, if you're going to overreact and make 31 other teams that are acting in an honorable way, pay for that, because ultimately, if you make massive changes, that's going to affect everybody. And I don't know that the NFL really wants to go down that path, unless it does become that issue that you're talking about, where we start seeing this more often. I think as time goes on, it'll be like it has been. Has this type of thing happened before? Yes, maybe not to this extent, but yes. But you can probably count on one hand how many times that actually has happened. So it hasn't been a major issue in the past, and I don't expect that it's going to be a major issue moving forward.
My oldest son, who we grew up in L.A., his sports hero was Kobe. Last night I was on the air when Bam Adebayo scored 83, and it caught my attention when he had 30 and 40, and I started looking at it, but the Maxx stuff was overwhelming at the time. And then I started looking at what was happening with the amount of fouls and how the Wizards quit and how the Wizards actually gave them a path to free points that Kobe never got, as you covered the 81. How do we come to grips now that Bam Adebayo passed Kobe Bryant and is between, it's just Wilt Chamberlain with 100 there? Do you look at that deal now saying, man, tip our cap to him, he passed Kobe, or man, that looks really shady?
I would probably adopt the Kobe approach, which knowing Kobe, right now, or if he was still with us, he'd probably laugh a little bit and look at the box score and say, okay. I mean, it's a little bit two different worlds here between my 80 and 83, but generally laugh at it and not take it all that serious. I think if you're taking an honest look and putting side by side the stat lines, you can kind of see what happened last night compared to Kobe's 81. But at the same time, he still had to hit all those free throws.
Yeah.
Which is a record-breaking, free throw situation. And I don't care if it's TV basketball or NBA basketball, 83 points, 83 points, however you come about getting it, and whatever the other team did, your team did. I'm not going to take it too seriously. It's just a number and it's just a statistic at the end of the day. And again, knowing Kobe, he's probably having a good little roll in his eyes a little bit,
right.
and having a good little laugh about, all right, you have your 83, I got my 81. I think everyone understands that my 81 is a little bit more important, but I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. Congratulations on your great night.
Vinnie, let's thank your partners. I appreciate you very much.
Absolutely. Likewise. Sal'sMexicanRestaurant.com if you want the best Mexican food in California, Central Valley, and you don't live there, just go to Sal'sMexicanRestaurant.com. Put your order in, and they'll get it delivered wherever you are.
Sounds beautiful. Talk to you next week. Thanks, Vinnie.
All right. Thank you.
You got it. Vinnie is in for me next week near the end of the week. So we're getting out of Dodge for a couple of days, and we got Vinnie in here, which I'm excited about. So you'll catch Vinnie near the middle to the back end of next week. Man, we're rolling today. We got a lot of people in the chat. Come make some new internet friends, some Raider fans, some fans from other teams. Please like and subscribe on YouTube at JT the Brick. Easy to see. It's in my X bio. Be a part of that. And when we come back, more of this. Kirk Morrison. So I spoke to Kirk last night live. It was really good. So we'll play that at some point next hour. And then it's an open phones day, right? We're supposed to do that. I don't have, like others in this building, I don't have 4 co-hosts. I can just count on you. I can give you everything I have. I have to do the show, and I can't take a breath. I have to wait for you. And today we don't have to. Today we'll hear from you at 702-365-9200. Vinnie said 2 big things that jumped out at me, Clay. The word dishonorable. What the Ravens did could be looked at as dishonorable. I agree with that. And Vinnie said, Clay, that no problem with the money. Plenty of cash on hand to do this.
Yeah, it's dishonorable because this is a very tight-knit group among ownership, and there's always been a way of doing things. It may not be completely written down, but there's an unwritten rule of respect, and something happened where the Ravens thought it would be okay that they could weasel out of this and play dirty pool.
Yeah, it looks like the Ravens did the Raiders dirty, but there's going to be more to this, and I'm aware of that. All right, jump on in if you want to get here. We'll get you going. M Resort Spa and Casino. And they got great concerts out at the pool in the summer. They have 2 towers now, which is better than 1. They got the Raiders Tavern and Grill. A lot of fans go to their great hockey bar to watch the Golden Knights. What's going on with the Golden Knights? Are they ever going to win a game again? Hey, VGK, wake up. We need to win the Stanley Cup. Woo! It's a good 47 minutes, huh? It's a good 48 minutes. You get the monologue, you get Vinnie Bonsignore. That's good stuff. Got a couple of donations today, so my sons can eat. My sons weren't going to eat today until they got donations, man. Now my sons can go to lunch together. Or my young son can go golf today. Thank you. Ironically, I had a doctor's appointment today, and I'm talking to my doctor one-on-one, and I asked him because he knows what I do for a living, and I'm talking to him about a meniscus compared to an ACL. And this is what my doctor told me today at 9:30 in his office. Quote, an ACL is much more serious, but when you repair the ACL, it's completely fixed. 100%, it's perfect. MCL, when you repair it, you take less and less of it away. And, it really doesn't get completely better, but you can come back quicker than an ACL. So it was really interesting to hear from a doctor's perspective the difference between an ACL and an MCL. How the hell did we lose to Italy? My grandfather he immigrated here through Ellis Island, an Italian. My grandfather, born in the Italian Alps, okay, on the Italian side of the border, but really the French side of the French-Italian Alps. I have Italian blood pumping through me, along with Irish blood. How did we lose to Italy in the WBC? Are you kidding me? What? We lost to Italy? Not Dominicana? Not Venezuela? Not Mexico? And now I got to count on Harry Ruiz? I need Paul Gutierrez and Harry Ruiz, or Mexican-American Mexico baseball fans, to get out of this thing?
Or stop by your nearest branch. All loans are subject to approval. Terms and conditions apply. Must be a member to borrow. Membership requires a savings account with a minimum balance.
I'm texting with Gorilla Rilla. Gorilla Rilla's listening, man. Gorilla Rilla. Is Violator in here? Is Violator in here?
Get a customized program specific to your business. Largest assortment of workers and workwear for every industry. The convenience of having a one-source nationwide supplier.
JT's Rick Show.
Customization. You need safety and compliance. We have it back. Commercial accounts and food bar work.
Let me come back with this Adam Schefter.
Power Shift by NP Energy is all about taking savings to the next level. Check it out. These products and services save energy and money. There are discounts and rebates on energy-efficient devices and free smart thermostats. Take savings to the next
All right,
level.
Clay, let's finish up the hour. We got Brazy on hold.
By NP Energy.
We got Brazy, we got Thor.
Brazy and Thor.
And I got coming back with Adam Schefter.
Download the free Terribles Plus Rewards app today and enjoy a new expanded menu of 40 items to choose from every Tuesday for free. You heard that right. Absolutely free. So no matter which one of you walks in, you can guarantee that you'll walk out with exactly what you're craving. Terribles Tuesday, exclusively on the Terribles Plus Rewards app. Your daily routine rewarded, deliberately different.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by M Resort Spa and Casino, the official hotel of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, again, Maxx Crosby back in the Raiders building today, and the Raiders already have gotten several calls from teams expressing an interest and a curiosity about acquiring Maxx Crosby in a trade, which doesn't mean they will. I think the Raiders are right back to where they were all along. They were open to listening, but wouldn't deal him unless they got the price that they were asking for, which the Baltimore Ravens ultimately agreed to give them before they decided not to. And so if there's a team that steps up and gives them the price they're seeking, yes, the Raiders probably would be open. But what is the price right now when Maxx Crosby is not fully healthy, when there are questions about that knee? The doctors say he's on track, he should be back, but there are a variety of opinions here about how that will now proceed. And so there's a path in which Maxx Crosby could be with the Raiders, and there's a path that we could see a trade, though we'd have no idea when that trade would be and what the compensation would be for him.
Adam Schefter on ESPN. That's interesting to me. I mean, really didn't tell you anything. That the Raiders are listening. We knew that months ago, or at least a month ago, that the Raiders are listening. And one of the other big topics that I want to get into the rest of the week is, who cares about the 27th pick in the first round compared to the second pick in the second round? Is it that big of a deal? Like, we got 2 firsts. All right, what happens if you have a first, that's 12, and then a second, which is 3? I mean, you know, you're only talking about 7 or 8 picks difference, and it's the same player. It's the same player. The first round pick at 28 compared to the second pick of the second round is the same bleeping player. You're either right or wrong. So we got to get number ones. You have to get number ones. Okay, yeah, I think number ones are important in this league, but number twos are important if you know how to draft. And this organization's got to nail the draft. Brazy, thanks for holding. We appreciate it. You're up next. Go ahead.
Yeah, ever since the news came down Friday, everyone started texting me and reaching out, and I was saying the same thing. It's Raider Nation. You're either with us or you're against us. Max was against us. Now he's back. He's with us. I'd rather have Max. The team's a lot better with Max. I think Max believes in things don't happen just by chance. This tells you, Max, you're born to be and retire a Raider forever. Come in, kick ass. Don't take no names. Let's go. We got Fernando. Can't win in this league without a quarterback. We got one. Can't win in this league without a great coach. We got one. We got the best center in the league. It's time to roll. Max, come and enjoy the fruits of your labor. You're either with us or against us. Hey, stay on your pitch 1, 2, number 1. Don't trade Max for nothing but. Don't give him away. The Ravens, they choked. They were hearing all the noise. Everyone's giving them C grades, D grades, and they choked on that. Max is still the most feared defensive end in the league. He can hit you on the run, on the pass, and he's going to come back even better. So stay with us, Max. Ride it out with us. Let's go to the playoffs. Let's make some noise. Right next year.
Yeah, that's it. You're either with them or against them. That's the way you treat your family and your friends. You're either with us or against us. Don't want to get too dramatic here, but that's the way I live my life with my friends and family. You're either with us or you're against us. It's pretty simple. You know, we don't have to dramatize this. It's just Max is one of us. He's always been one of us because he was open to a trade and might have wanted to go to a team to win. Can you get over that? Yeah, I can get over that because he's a friend. I can't get over Devontae quitting in the middle of the season. Could I get over Devontae years from now? Yeah, probably. But the Devontae deal is completely different. Devontae went out of his way to get out of the team mid-season. He did not do the team any favors. Okay? So Devontae did it differently than Max. He really did. And that's the difference between Devontae and Max. Two great players, two gold jacket Hall of Famers, but I look at it a little bit differently. I look at it differently with Woodson. Right? Woodson went to the Packers, got a Super Bowl. Charles watches the show at times. Well, Charles is known as a Packer and a Raider. Mostly for the Raiders, but he won a Super Bowl with the Packers. We welcomed him back. That wasn't a problem, was it? I don't see anybody yelling at C. Wood from the second deck, you're a Packer. Things happen. You roll with the punches. We'll get to Thor on the other side. We'll reset my conversation with Kirk Morrison, and then we'll hear from you. Raider fans, how do you think this plays out? I want to hear your opinion. It might not play out the way I want it to or you want it to. Max could get traded here very quickly. As Adam Schefter said, they're listening. If they get a call today for a 1 and an early 2, would you do the deal? I just think it's cool to have him back in the building, and I think it's a big story, and I hope it benefits the Raiders. Yes. Yes.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste, brewed with fighting spirit since 1925.
Gamblers bonus hits again. On January 23rd, Kathy hit 4 kings, clearing her Gamblers bonus 4-of-a-kind bingo card for over $7,000. Kathy hit big and so can you with Gamblers bonus. It's why you play the game.
Hi, sports fans, it's the Herd. We're here to talk about game changers. Just like in sports, business has all its MVPs, and Ford Country in the Valley Auto Mall is leading the pack. At Ford Country, you'll get VIP experience with the best service in town and exceptional savings on your favorite Fords like the F-150, Explorer, and the Bronco. Visit Ford Country at the Valley Auto Mall or online at FordCountryHenderson.com. Ford Country, where the difference is real.
This is JT for the Black Hole, home of football's most notorious fans. If you're a diehard Raider fan, this is your home. Become a member today and receive 20% off online purchases, hotel discounts for home and away games, access to members-only merchandise, and much more. All memberships are now lifetime memberships. Once a member, always a member. If you bleed silver and black, visit theblackhole.com today. That's theblackhole.com. Hey, it's JT. Grimaldi's is hands down my favorite pizza in Vegas. Only at Grimaldi's can you get their famous New York-style coal-fired brick oven pizza. Grimaldi's has 4 locations in the Vegas Valley, or check them out online at Grimaldi'sPizzeria.com. This is JT for the local 872, proud partners of Raider Nation Radio, led by Tommy White, building the city on time and on budget. Go to local872.com to find out about apprenticeships, career paths, all the public work zones, and the schedules that are happening here in our valley. I'm proud to be associated with the 872, proud partners of my show and Raider Nation Radio.
Vegas, this is your multi-platinum spring break rock throwback. Puddle of Mud with special guest Eve 6 live at Im Resort Saturday, March 21st. One night, one room, an exclusive show. Doors open at 8 p.m. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.com or the Im Resort box office. Puddle of Mud, Eve 6, Saturday, March 21st at Im Resort.
Sometimes life calls a technical foul. That's where you're going to need the assistance of an outstanding criminal attorney, like our winning team at the Vegas Lawyers. Whether it's representation for DUI, domestic violence, record sealing, or any other.
All right, we're back. Let's get back.
The Vegas Lawyers, where compassion and strong legal representation come together.
Ooh, a nice direct message from someone very important in my Instagram feed. Hey, having a great show. Come on in. Everyone wants to say hi. We got a real Raider fan who loves Maxx Crosby. Look at that. Look at how many people we got in. We got the great
Hey,
Steph-
everyone, go Raiders.
Yeah, what do you think of Maxx Crosby back in the building?
I'm in love. I am so in love. I love me some Max, so I'm happy.
You're happy.
So don't be mean. Don't be mean about it.
They get mean. They get mean at times.
Don't
Steph.
be mean about it, man.
Why get mean, right?
I mean, we have him. What are you upset about now? What?
Well, because they might trade him still. We don't know.
No, we don't want that. No, don't throw that out there.
What are we drinking? What is this?
That is the best, and they just got a new flavor lime. I like
Wow.
feature lime.
All right. Thank you. We're back on.
All right.
Thank you, program
Bye, guys.
director. Thank you, PD.
You're welcome.
Your silver black hole to sound off for over 25 years. It's really important to me that we're a gritty team the way that they were back in the old days. Nothing that we say is what we do on the field. All the little things that went that have nothing to do with ski. And now, here's JT the Bread.
JT back with you, hour number 2. Wednesday. We have Vinnie Bonsignor on Wednesdays. And Kirk Morrison, my conversation with him last night, which was good. He came right on with me when the Maxx story broke. You'll get his perspective, and it's unique. And then Q's coming up, and he's been all over this at the top of the hour. Welcome back to the show. We're brought to you by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. When was the last time you went into a cane store? It's amazing. They make that great sauce in store every day. It's fresh, the best chicken fingers you've ever had in your life. The buttery Texas toast. I get the double coleslaw. I'm a caniac. My sons love the box combo. My sons live in the drive-thru. They live in the drive-thru. You can see their tire treads at Raising Cane's in the drive-thru, right there by Sahara and Fort Apache. That's where we like to go. Wherever you go, Raising Cane's, proud partner of the show as we continue on. So you know the breaking news by now. The Ravens pulled out of the Raider trade for Maxx Crosby. They had the right to do that. League year starts today. So why'd they do it? We don't know. We don't know for sure. We're assuming they did the deal because they looked at the medicals of Maxx Crosby and they didn't like what they saw. Okay, they have the right to do that. I know it's a pain in the butt. They have the right to do that. But a lot of people think they did the Raiders dirty and the league dirty because what they really did was they got cold feet over it. They wanted their 2 first-round picks back. And they were able to sign today Trey Hendrickson for less money than Maxx. And they were able to get Trey Hendrickson plus their picks back, and they feel better about that. But, man, did they do Maxx dirty. Everybody knew Maxx had a knee surgery. He was shut down the last 2 games. I didn't find that a really big topic when it was a delicate topic for me because Eric Allen and I are doing the pregame show. Maxx is being forced not to play, and the Raiders did the right thing. Maxx was injured. They knew it. They knew the medicals. They shut Maxx down. They also shut Bowers down. Bowers, remember, missed 4 games due to a knee. There was no need for Bowers to further injure himself going into the offseason. So the Raiders made a organizational move to shut down Maxx Crosby. We know now that Maxx wasn't happy about it. We don't know all the details, but he wasn't happy about it. And that's part of the story. So was the relationship frayed a bit? Possibly, but, John Spytek went into the offseason, the combine, and I thought John handled everything well. He told everybody, look, I'll listen, but Maxx is a great player, and we're in the business of having great players. But what's changed so dramatically here in the last couple of days is the Raiders went out and were so active in free agency. They were so active in free agency that they have a completely different team than the team that we didn't think they would have. What would have really bummed me out? Because the Raiders had so much money to spend, they have to spend it. Do you understand that now? I'm a big believer in this. You might get a kick out of this. You know, around a lot of my buddies are fascinated with Costco. They love Costco. They buy everything at Costco. They look on their phone. Oh my God, I could get patio furniture for the pool. I can get new this and that. My friends go nuts over Costco. You know what I do? I don't go to Costco, so I spend no money. My wife goes, but I don't go and get lost in the aisles and start buying things I don't need. My money, I want to use my investment dollars somewhere else other than buying crap at Costco. And when I look at deals and how deals come about and what could happen in the future, it's kind of like Costco. Hey, I want to buy that lawn furniture. It's $1,800. Oh boy, they just put it down at $1,200. And it's a lifetime guarantee. No, I'll do that deal now. So Maxx Crosby was out there for 2 first-round picks. The Bears knew that. The Eagles knew that. Jerry Jones knew that. And Baltimore had a pretty good first-round pick, number 14 overall. The Raiders said, okay, you're calling us on 2. We'll do that deal. Maxx orchestrates the trade. Maxx is ready to go. Back channels through his agent or not. I've talked to Maxx off the record about this. Maxx has the right, but he's under contract. And I've been telling you the Raiders don't have to do nothing. He's under contract. The Raiders decide for the betterment of the team and all the draft capital that they got that they're going to get more draft picks and move on from Maxx, who, by the way, is rehabbing a knee injury. Now it's changed. Ravens don't want Maxx. We get him back. So Maxx is going to do everything he can to get healthy, to be at 100%. And he'll be at 100%. He'll be at 100%. And when he does, if the Raiders play defense with the new players that they have, I mean, we get a slot corner from Buffalo. We retain our best corner. We get 2 really good linebackers. If you really want to get something cryptic going with me, ask me in the chat what I thought about these linebackers the last couple of years. They couldn't cover me or you when it came to Kelsey. How many times has your buddy JT got on the radio and said, we can't guard Kelsey. We're done. We don't want to guard him. We don't want to guard him. We have Marvin Lewis, Patrick Graham. We got good coaches. They're really good. They don't want to guard Kelsey. They don't want to put their hands on Kelsey. They don't want to block him. They want to escort him into the end zone. I'm screaming from my seats, 132. Fabian's to the left of me. I'm standing in my seats. Put your hands on Kelsey. Do it. Nope. Kelsey, little head fake. Boom. Right in his chest. Touchdown. Okay. Now we got linebackers who are going to punch Kelsey in the mouth. Finally. And we got them on Monday. And they're 2 dogs from Georgia who played with Brock Bowers. And Stokes loves them. Different defense. Different defense. Now, here's one thing that's very interesting. If the Raiders, Clay, let me ask you this. This is hypothetical. If the Raiders didn't get rid of Maxx Crosby in the trade, and they did, do you think Malcolm Kuntz is here? If that would mean Maxx was never leaving. I don't think Kuntz is here. Maybe he is on a 1-year, $11 million. But Maxx was gone. Now did John Spytek look and go, we have no Maxx. I'm going to keep Kuntz on a 1-year prove-it deal again. He didn't prove me much last year, other than he's a great teammate. Didn't prove it with the stats. So a guy like Kuntz or Kwity Paye, those 2 guys probably are here because Maxx was leaving.
Yeah, it almost seems like it. And you know, these are the things that happens to teams when they go and make in certain trades like this. They start maneuvering around so they can bolster their team after absences happen. But in this case, Kuntz was familiar with Rob Leonard and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, like, maybe they felt like there was something there, but, you know, definitely he was added as a depth piece and somebody that could, hey, let's give it one more try. Just like Tyree Wilson get one more try on the final year of his deal. I guess the point is that you do make deals because you don't expect him coming back. And sometimes when he does come back, now what? How does that change things? And at the same time, how comfortable are you with the new changes with Maxx? And does he fit everything you wanted to do and the identity? I would think so, because who says no to an elite player?
It's a really good point. It's a really good point. Raise your hand and beep your horn if you're driving. If you're upset the Raiders got 7 new starters and Maxx Crosby's back. I don't know anybody in the Raider Nation upset about that. Now, here's what would have upset me, is if the Raiders opened up free agency in the legal tampering era and they only got 3 guys, right? So they went out and got Tyler Linderbaum. Check. That's a big one. Then they go out and they retain Eric Stokes. They do that. Then they get a slot corner and then they stop. That would have got me nuts. I would have been like, wait a second. Whoa, we got $100 million still left in the cap, or $85 million, and we stopped? No. Spytech went in and went big and still has money left over to pay for Maxx. So it feels like it's okay. The question is, we want Maxx to heal properly. Maxx has got to really heal properly. He's got to heal at a level where there's no more damage, and everybody feels good about that. And I don't play doctor here on the radio. I don't play doctor here on the radio. Let's get out to Thor in Summerlin. Thor, how was the cruise? Are you still on the boat? What's going on, man?
No, I'm at home, JD. I'm at home, brother. I'm at home. It was a good time. Cruise is always a good time. I can't wait for my next cruise in May. But I'm fired up. I'm fired up at what I see the Raiders doing right now, man. I love the fact that Maxx is back. But more than that, I love what we were doing in free agency. And to me, that's the most important thing. We had to go out and make big moves. You know what I'm saying? We had to go try to do something. So you talk about maybe the Ravens had buyer's remorse. Well, maybe Maxx had seller's remorse that he left. Now he's seeing all this stuff coming in. Also, it could be a lot of things. Well, let's hopefully it works out. That's all I'm saying, JT. I'm ready. I'm going to be calling in for the next few days, fired up about stuff. JT, my brother, let's go. I'm happy I'm back. We need to have a Modelo this weekend.
Hey, did they have a spot on the cruise where you were smoking cigars?
I was smoking sticks. They didn't have a cigar lounge. They did not, but they actually had a place, like you could smoke outside, but at night on the 12th floor, they had a little bar and they sold cigars there, and they let us kind of take it over.
Nice, good.
And smoke out there, so that was cool. It wasn't a cigar lounge, but it was cool enough. So,
all right, well, let's grab a stick soon. I'll call you, man. Thanks for checking in.
For sure, brother.
You got it. All right, you got it. Thor, Raider Nation Drinking Club in Summerlin. We're wide open this hour. My conversation with Kirk Morrison coming up in a bit. Here's Pat in Woodland. Pat, thanks for waiting. You're up next on the flagship.
Hey, JC, man, thank you for having me on the show. Again, last time I talked to you, we had just got whooped by Kansas City 31-0. I was pissed. Look at where we at today. God is good. Glad Max came back. I think he should stay. And I feel Spytech is cooking up a storm. Excellent picks. We got linebackers. The defense looking competitive going into this season. Competitive. Just compete. Wait for the draft. Get the quarterback. Fall into place now. You know, Max, I know he's probably been through a lot, but things happen for a reason. It's like a godsend. The Ravens, they try to play dirty, and they kind of just bit themselves in the butt. Look at the production Max has done in his career while playing with those injuries, and he still had all those surgeries, and he's still getting 10.5 sacks. Come on, bro. So what, you think that now this meniscus tear is going to slow him down? Are you serious right now? I don't think so.
Yeah, he needs to have a clean rehab so he's not slow. And I'm expecting, all the doctors are saying, all of them and his agent, that he's on pace to have a complete recovery from this. But look, it's hard to play doctor on the radio and be a fan like we both are and say he's going to be 100%. But a lot of people think he will be fine. And once he comes in, and no matter who he plays for, I'm assuming he's going to play here, but he's going to have a motor. And he's going to have an edge to him like he hasn't had before. And he's been one of the greatest motor players I've ever seen in my life.
That's right. So already, I think the Raiders are going to do excellent. We're going to be more competitive than we ever been. This is probably the greatest time in Raider history now with the new coaching staff. Spytech has done an amazing job. Tom Brady's influence has actually done us a favor after that tuck rule nonsense. But besides all that, I can forgive and forget. So it's all good. Today is a great time to be a Raider.
Thank you.
For having me on your show.
Yeah, I would tell everybody, and I've been trying to say this in our YouTube chat, please watch the show. Please join us in the chat so we can talk on top of the radio, the JT the Brick on YouTube, is that don't get your hopes up completely. He could get traded. He was already traded. The phones are ringing. They're trying to do a deal. Jerry Jones, the Bears, the Eagles are probably trying to do a deal. Ooh, Clay, UNLV 44, Wyoming 31 at the half at the Thomas and Mack, Clay Baker.
Let's go.
I'll be there tomorrow, hosting the show tomorrow at the Thomas and Mack. There's always Modelo's there tomorrow. I'll be live from the Thomas and Mack tomorrow from noon to 2, and we'll do the show from the Mountain West. And if UNLV wins this game, that's going to be very interesting because then they have really good momentum in their conference tournament. I would love them to win this game today. They got to hold on and win. All right, let's get out to Robert in Portland. Robert, you're up next. Always good to hear from you.
Yeah, JT, I just want to commend you last night when I was listening to Sirius XM, and you were, shall we say, defending the Raiders against those Raider haters like George. I just want to commend you. You showed so much class. You didn't take the bait. They were all trying to get. Every time I just shake my head about all those guys out there. But I want to bring up one thing. The Raiders, they've been hit with a lot of things that the other clubs don't get hit with. You and I both know that, and it's not going to stop. So I just look at this realistically. We got a ways to go. I love your synopsis on Kelce. Yes, he's a deer in the meadow. You've always said that. I just laughed my head off because that's just what he looks like, a deer in the meadow. But I do like some of these pickups. I don't like the defensive end from the Colts. He's a good athlete. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a replacement for Crosby. The big deal, I think, it's a business. The money that's owed to Crosby, I think Spytech was trying to thread the needle, and now he's not going to be able to thread the needle. And will he get rid of him anyway? Not in a fire sale, but for a less return. As a Raider faithful, I hope he doesn't do that. I just don't like that. But, it's almost like we have to give in to the league again. After the Gruden affair, we had to give in to the league again. I just think we need to turn the page, and Spytech and Brady need to say, oh, if this is the way you guys want to play it, so be it. And just full speed ahead. It's a big deal, but you got to look at it through a lens that, you do on national radio. You got to just stay calm and just hope for the best, but at the same time, I think Spytech learned a lesson. He now knows, as an employee of the Raiders, you get hit with this stuff.
Yeah, you do.
And it doesn't happen very often. These guys on national radio and television were trying to say, oh, well, there's been other instances of this, like Roger Saffold. And that's nothing like this. This is like when Chris Paul was going to go to the Lakers, and Stern said, no way. This is that big.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we all have to remember. But I commend you for the way you
appreciate it.
You just take good care and have a good time next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it. The league year has begun. Happy New Year. The league, New Year League has begun. 17 minutes ago, Adam Schefter reporting Kirk Cousins officially released. He could be the new Raider quarterback. He could, because he just gets money. Cousins already is owed $10 million from the Falcons. Do you remember when I sat here and I said, go get Russell Wilson for $1 million? Remember I sat here and said that. I was right. They were wrong. I was right. Russell Wilson was for free. He's a really good player. Russell Wilson was great. He wasn't that bad when he was available for $1 million. You can get Kirk Cousins now for the veteran minimum, I think, but Cousins, for whatever reason, he's getting $10 million from the Falcons, and he'll probably get more money from someone else. Adam Schefter reporting 18 minutes ago, the Cardinals have released Kyler Murray. With Murray now free, the Vikings are considered the overwhelming favorite to sign him. So the league year is open, and we'll see how this is going to play out here. There's a lot of news around the league. And if there's going to be breaking news with the Raiders, if there's more signings, keep it here to the flagship station, and we'll keep it right here. All the Maxx Crosby news has dominated last night and today. Not that it's slowing down, but now we're seeing deals get consummated. Deals are getting done. So that's going to take a little bit of the edge off of this whole Maxx conversation for a little bit. Dane is in Las Vegas on 920. Hello, Dan.
Hey, JT, thanks for having me.
Yep.
I know you said earlier on the show, no reason to panic, no need for for a crisis. Well, it's a crisis in my household because, not that we don't love Maxx. We all love Maxx. I just think that the Raiders, of course, they were operating under the premise that they had lost Maxx but had gained some salary cap and the 14th pick in the upcoming draft. And here's my worry. We can all agree that we needed some kind of revamped offensive line, and Linderbaum is a heck of a start, right? We can all agree on that. But I'm still not comfortable, me personally, with Rodgers and Glaze being the week one starters for whoever our starting quarterback is. I think they need to be shored up. My worry is that at 14, you have a heck of a lineman still, somewhere on that board where you can solidify the line for years to come, or hopefully if he pans out. But my point is that they've lost that option now. What drives me nuts about excuse my language, but the scumbags in Baltimore for dropping this deal is don't tell me that they sent an offer of 2 first-round picks to the Raiders without doing hundreds of man-hours of due diligence into Maxx Crosby medicals up to this point. The thing that drives me crazy is that they're acting like Max got over there, they're taking a look at his medicals for the first time. Oh, his knee doesn't look so great, so we're backing out of the deal. Baloney. They know that the Raiders were forthcoming. The doctor was the team doctor for the Rams. They provided the medicals. The Ravens knew exactly what they were getting before Max went over there. 2 days into free agency, they dropped the bomb, and we're left holding the bag. I was going to root against the Ravens this upcoming season because it, played a part in the first-round pick that the Raiders would get in 2027. The Ravens, I'm going to root against them for life now. I feel like what they did was totally uncalled for. They broke the moral code. I know there's nothing the NFL can do about it, but that's never going to sit right with me. Never. Not now, not 5 years from now, not 20 years from now.
Good. Thanks for the call. I appreciate that. It shouldn't sit well from you. Breaking news, Ian Rappaport. The Jets bolster their offensive line, agreeing to terms with former Raiders guard Dylan Parham, per the insiders. He gets a 2-year deal worth up to $20 million. We wish Dylan Parham well. And we wish him well because he was a Raider. He's a good player. He wasn't elite. He's a good player. He just got paid. And as I said, I thought Dylan Parham, no matter what, was going to be a backup for the Raiders. If the Raiders had the offseason that I expect them to have, Clay, with the offensive line, it would be Colton Miller, it would be Tyler Linderbaum, it would be Jackson Powers-Johnson. That would be 3. I'm hoping for another guard in free agency, not the draft. That would be 4. And then Dylan Parham would be a reserve. So good for him that he'll start for the Jets.
Yeah, good for him. And, at the same time, I think they're still wandering and eyes of looking for that next guard. And, tackles are hard to come by at this point in the game. But right now, take a look at what there is available on the guard that make sure that they can run the wide angle offense if you're looking for the wide zone.
Look at Clay dropping some wide zone blocking knowledge here. Love
I
it.
want to leave no stone unturned and nothing left for uncertainty.
I don't mind the zone blocking technique. I've been with Cable, Callahan, Bill Callahan, and Tom Cable were here. I've worked alongside on radio as a sideline reporter with Bill Callahan and Tom Cable. So I've seen some good coaches. I like straight ahead blocking, but Kubiak loves zone blocking, whatever they want. Just get the guys. Here's some news. The Ravens will have GM Eric DeCosta talk to reporters at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. I'm sure Q will be rolling on that. That's a big, big conversation as the GM of the Ravens is going to have to figure out what he's going to tell the media on Maxx Crosby. That is coming up. Here is Lester in the East Bay. Lester, you're up next. Go ahead.
JT, thanks for taking the call. I love Maxx Crosby. Hey, we get to keep the great player on this Raider team and add to this rebuild defense, or we trade him for another offer that we can't refuse. But this is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, what kind of shenanigans are going on here before St. Patrick's Day by the Ravens? I mean, I don't mind. You're backing out of a deal because all the circumstantial evidence is there. I mean, their people were leaking out that they were interested in Trey Hendrickson and so forth, and then you make the deal, and then all of a sudden, the legal tampering period's going on here. I mean, this is the problem. The Raiders absolutely got to file a grievance and get compensation to look for it, because what's going on here, this affects other teams that were interested in Max to make a trade for him. And this could affect his potential market going forward.
Mm-hmm.
And also it could affect other teams' free agent boards and the free agent plans that they had.
Yeah.
So it affects other teams within the league. This is the main grievance, okay? So the Ravens, this is during a trade. This is the Stafford situation that
Mm-hmm.
12 years ago by signing a free agent. So I don't know what kind of shit. I'm not going to bring it, JT. They're absolutely ridiculous. Bring on Axel Hamilton over here. Let's see what he has to think about this ridiculousness, JT. Go Raiders.
Yeah, thank you. I should bring in Hacksaw, because Hacksaw is not Raider friendly. He doesn't root for the Raiders, but Hacksaw actually understands how this works really good. And I'm going to book him right now. I'm going to reach out to Hacksaw to get him, and maybe we'll get him on here tomorrow. 702-365-9200 as we continue. We got a lot to say today. Today's a busy day for this channel. For our YouTube feed, for everybody there, please subscribe for free. Thanks for listening. You can go to LV Sports Network if you miss any portion of the show, and the whole show lives on my YouTube channel at JT the Brick. Wow, Papa Meach, he's up next in Colorado. What's happening?
Hey, JT. Hi, JT. Hi, quarterback Clay. I'm going to wrap this together, so bear with me.
Yes, go ahead.
JT, about this. Okay. Bisaccia was not retained, and Max and the boys were not happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing happened with AP. He was not retained, and Max came out in public or his podcast and said something to the effect, hey, maybe I might ask for a trade. Vic Taver reported that did not sit well with Mark Davis, and he didn't talk to Max for about 2 months because he made that public comment. Now you go forward to a year ago, March, and Max signs this humongous, highest paid player of any non-quarterback in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of crap went on with the Raiders between when he first started until last year. So he lived through a lot of stuff, and still living through a lot of stuff, he decided that he wanted to continue on with the Raiders last March and wanted to be a Raider for life and all this stuff. And by the way, I'm going to continue saying I love Maxx Crosby. I did a tribute on our podcast to Maxx Crosby. This isn't anti-Maxx Crosby, but this is my concern. And that is, this year, when they decided to not play Max the last 2 games, reportedly, he was ticked about it. I get why. He's a competitor. But I just can't imagine someone not sitting down in advance and saying, Max, this is why we're doing it. And if he would understand that, why would he go storming out of the building and be upset about it, besides being a competitor? So I guess my point in all this is, going forward, I hope we keep Max. But if the team goes, hey, Max, you're getting a little bit older. We don't want you to play every snap. Or we want to do this, or we want to do that with you. If Max reacts in these ways he's reacted in the past, then that to me is a warning sign or a problem that I have with him, because I don't know all the details, and maybe he had a right to react the way he did, but those things concern me, that he storms out of the building and now he's back, and I think he probably would assess the Raiders, say, this is a pretty good team, they treat me really well, and if they are my boss, and if they ask me to do something, I'm not going to be public about it and do something. I don't know.
No, that's fair. Thanks for the call, buddy. Appreciate it. I got to run. Look, Max is an emotional guy. I'm an emotional guy. I know what it's like when I walk into my places, my various jobs of employment. I'm different than I am when I'm having Modelo's with my buddy at a bar. Maxx Crosby, if he gets a little upset about something and he wanted to play and he leaves the building, Max is in the building more than anyone. More than anyone. He's in the building more than anyone. Okay, he's not perfect. He's not a perfect human being. He just tries to improve every day. And this is a complex situation. This is not easy. Why do you think this is the number one story in sports? Why do you believe this is the number one story in all of sports? It's complicated. And it looks like the Ravens did the Raiders dirty and put, I just read a report, and I'll talk to Max about it one-on-one, but I just read a report that Max and Rachel were in the building when this Trey Hendrickson thing was being negotiated. Wow. If that's true, I don't know, but I got a job to tell you this on the radio. So I'll find out. And they said that the building was very uncomfortable. So Max, who's a multi-millionaire, flew with his wife all the way to Baltimore, and they get there in a hotel. They get over there, and they get treated this way. Wow, okay. We'll remember that. We'll keep an eye on that going forward. I know most Raider Nation is furious with the Ravens. Their GM will speak at the top of the hour. Aloha to Michael in Hawaii listening to Raider Nation Radio. What's happening?
Hey, aloha, JT. You're right, man. Nothing's perfect. The only thing perfect was Jesus. But I'll say this. One, you're glad you're not in Hawaii because we got a week of rain and storms.
Ooh.
So no boogie boarding and no golf anyway, so it's going to work out for you. Second of all, I've had a lot of second chances in my life. I left Hawaii, I came back, and I took over a business as an owner after 5 years, the same restaurant. So when you lose something, you appreciate it. And I only say this in context to Max. I think he's going to come back. He's a motivated guy anyway. I think he's going to be more motivated. And I think he's going to set the tone for this defense. It's going to be aggressive and hungry. I think the best thing we can do now is keep him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there can be something good that comes out of this.
Right.
And my last point is this: what's legal tampering? I don't get that. I mean, if anybody can we can make a trade now, and then we can say, okay, well, we're going to do the trade at free agent, but if free agency doesn't work out the way we want, then we're going to nix the trade. And I think that's something the NFL
you're right.
where they have this window going on. And anyways, I just wanted to say that. Bless you. Thank you, JT.
Okay, yeah, well, look, you made a good point on that. I'm worried about trends. I'm in the business of trends and facts. Right, Clay? We watch a game. Bam Adebayo scores 83. We see the number. Then we have to talk about how he got to 83, and some of it's shady. Well, when it comes to the trend, could there be a trend, Clay Baker, where next year or 2 years from now, a team makes a blockbuster move, but then free agency changes in 48 hours, and they're like, woo, I can get out of this because the guy I really wanted, I can get out of it, and I can get someone just as good for $25 million guaranteed cheaper. Let's blow up the deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you now can say, I got leverage. I got all the medicals. I've got all the information I want, but I'm going to better deal this because I have a deadline that backs me up. And if it got away once with the Ravens, then I can get away with it again.
Bradley Chubb agrees to a 3-year, $43 million deal with the Bills, $29 million guarantee. Remember, the Bills brought in Von Miller. Remember, they brought in Bosa, right? They brought in Joey Bosa. They keep throwing it up against the wall trying to win the Super Bowl. Bradley Chubb, if he's completely healthy, is a hell of a player. Thanks to all the bricklayers. Thanks to everybody on our social media stream today. Really nice job. Really appreciate that. The DeCastroverde Law Group. Brothers win. They do win, man. Believe me, the brothers win. The DeCastroverde Law Group. If you get into an accident, please, and you're injured, get safe, get to the side of the road. Don't talk to anyone other than the police there on the scene, and go to the DeCastroverde Law Group. The brothers win, brotherswin.com. Thanks, everybody. We will see you. I'm out. I'm going to get a cigar and a Modelo. What a day. What a day. 6 hours yesterday, 6 hours Monday, 2 hours today. We're good. Thanks to my sons who put this together today. Great job to my boys. Thank you for those who made a donation. Wow. Thanks for the donation. Appreciate that. Really appreciate that. We'll be back tomorrow.